In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can set up Safari to use two different search engines. This was introduced with iPadOS 17. Towards the end of the video, I'll also show you how you can use two different search engines without using this new feature that Apple added with iPadOS 17. It might be a little bit easier. You can do this with DuckDuckGo, but we'll take a look at that towards the end of the video. Let's first take a look at how we use two search engines with iPadOS 17. Let's go over to my iPad. Now, the way that we set this up is through Safari settings. So I need to open up the Settings app, and then from here I swipe up until I find Safari. When we open up Safari, you're going to see Search Engine. Now, this is nothing new, and this is the default search engine, so I have it set for Google. Well, let's go and change this over to DuckDuckGo. Maybe I want to use DuckDuckGo as my default search engine. Now, the problem with this is, even though DuckDuckGo is good, sometimes you just need to use Google. Google is better. So what you'd like to do is switch it over to a Google search. Well, you don't want to have to go back in here and change that just for a simple search, for a 1 or 2 time search. Well, now what we're able to do is go over to our private search engine, and we can tell Safari when we create a private page to use a different search engine. So I'm going to go with Google. So now, when I just do a standard search, it's going to use DuckDuckGo. But if I'm not finding what I want, and maybe I want to use Google, I can open up a private window and it'll use Google. So let's go ahead and see how that works. So I open up Safari here. I'm in a standard web page here. I'm not using a private web page, so it's going to be using DuckDuckGo. So I would like to find out how I can use CarPlay in a Tesla. There are ways that you can do this. Tesla doesn't come with CarPlay, but there are ways that you can do this. So I type in Tesla CarPlay. And again, it's going to be using DuckDuckGo here for my results. So maybe I'm not finding my results here. So now with iPadOS 17, all I need to do is just go and open up the sidebar. I go to a private window, and if I do the same search, Tesla CarPlay, instead of using DuckDuckGo, it's going to be using Google. So now what I'm able to do is easily switch between those two results. So here are my Google results because this is a private web page. Here are my DuckDuckGo results because this is a standard web page. So that's how we can easily switch between our two different search engines when we're using iPadOS 17. Now, I mentioned in the introduction, I would tell you a different way of doing this where you don't have to use this little trick. If you use DuckDuckGo as your default search engine, you can do this right within the search. I'm going to close this sidebar because we no longer need this. We're going to do this all from one window. So I'm using DuckDuckGo. I search for Tesla CarPlay. It came up with a number of results. I'm not finding what I want, so I would rather use Google. Well, as long as you're using DuckDuckGo, all you have to do is just go into the search here and type in a space and then a G for Google and then exclamation point. So we can see here that it is G exclamation point. Basically 3 characters, space, G, exclamation point. When I hit return, what that does is that tells DuckDuckGo to use Google. So now it is searching Google for that same search. I want to go back to DuckDuckGo. All I have to do is just go back, and I'm back at DuckDuckGo. I want to go over to Google again. I can type in here G exclamation point, space G exclamation point. So that's how you can also switch search engines, just by using DuckDuckGo. So that's how you can switch between different search engines when you're on the iPad. You can use Apple's new feature that they introduced with iPadOS 17. You just go over to the Settings app and set a search engine for your standard web pages and another search engine for your private web pages, and then just switch between those 2 pages. Or if you use DuckDuckGo, you can also do this right from within DuckDuckGo. Just hit a space G exclamation point, and when you do that, DuckDuckGo will use Google search engine instead of its own. So that's how you can switch between search engines on your iPad.